episode of Dom's Sketchcast. That's me, I'm Dom. And this is the Sketchcast, the podcast. It's sponsored by patreon.com/valet. If you sign on to patreon.com/valet, you would have been able to watch this episode a fucking day ago. These motherfuckers, these Patreon valets, are sitting there cruising. They're drinking martinis, man. They're sitting there eating popcorn and drinking martinis. That's all you can get over there. Popcorn and martinis. In the Patreon Valet site, my Patreon, I also post behind the scenes blogs, pictures. I talk about all the weird shit that's going on in development in DSC if you guys want to get into the weeds of how this stuff is made. Yeah, early content, pins. I'll tell you guys when new shirts are coming out. A lot of other stuff. Sign on there. Support your boy. Thank you. We're going to start this thing out like we start out all the other ones. 1 minute of silence. Do whatever you want during this silence. I would just encourage you not to consume anything. Don't turn on any music. Don't run around and just have a bunch of thoughts or whatever. Just 1 minute silence. Enjoy, appreciate your life. Or hate it. Whatever. That's all you want to do. Starting now. Yeah, I think that's about it. Show's over. All right, everybody go home. Just delete this whole podcast from your phone. Delete your phone as well. Just throw your phone to the nearest trash and have a good one.
I'll just delete it right now. I'll save the time.
Yeah, let's just delete that. Delete that shit. We're here in Downhill Media Studios, home of Arts Blamed. And I'm going to ask my first question to Downhill Media. Have you ever had someone save over your game?
Oh, yeah. That's the worst. My brother used to do that all the time. Sometimes
on purpose.
Sometimes on purpose.
Oh, that's fucked.
Yeah, we used to fuck with each other all the time though. So I probably deserved it, to be honest.
No, that's satanic. Like you don't like that's. I'd rather get my ass beat. Don't save over my file, man.
Dude, especially if it's something that you put so many hours into, like Zelda or like that. That was one that I can specifically remember.
That's just it's fucking with someone's digital life or like their. It's like going into your brain and just pulling some stuff out. It's like fucking with just a deep part of you. That, we also got editor Ryan in studio. Top valet. What about you, Ryan? You don't play video games, do you?
I don't, but...
What do? You read?
I read occasionally. I was playing God of War, and I'm 20 years old. My brother's 23. And he saved over my file of like maybe 10 hours. And I was just transported to being like 8 years old and he's 10 and just rage towards him.
Did you fight him?
I didn't fight him, but like I wanted to.
That'll do it.
That is the worst.
In the comments below, let me know if you ever had your game saved over and how it made you feel. This is therapy right now. There's one thing I want to talk about before I get into the main topic, which you probably guessed from the title. I will get into my 2018 list, baby. We're going to do that shit. But first, I want to address something, okay? This is really fucking important. I saw a thing where a guy proposed to a woman, a lovely lady. He was on one knee. He was like, "Will you fucking marry me, bitch? Come on." He was. That's not what he said. He was like, "Will you marry me?" He said, "Oh, I had it." And she was like, "I want to be with you forever in this life." And I'm in the background like, okay. And the next. Oh, wait, hold up. Oh yeah. I have something to say about that shit. Okay. Do not promise your next life to somebody as your spiritual advisor. Okay. Why the fuck would you? Am I just not romantic or something? That's serious. There's so many things that could go wrong with that. Even saying in this life, okay, I'll put it to you this way. We have a 50% divorce rate on this planet if you marry somebody. Why would you be like, not only that, but after I die, and after you die, I will follow you to the next realm. What the like, there's so much that you could be, I could really talk about this forever, but let's just dig into, scratch the surface of this. You're a ghost, and they're a ghost, and you're both like suffering in pain, and like they want nothing to do with you, but you're like soul bound to them, so you both are like suffering eternally, and you've somehow brought them into the next realm because you said that you wanted to be together. There's that. It could be like Quantum Leap, where it's like, I don't know, some crazy shit where like they end up being a coffee cup, and then you're just like, you're a human, and you're like, damn, I said I was gonna be with you in the next life. I didn't expect you to get turned into a coffee cup, but now I'm the person who's got to marry a coffee cup because I said I was gonna promise myself to you in the next life. You know what I'm saying? You could turn into a MacBook, and then now they have to have sex with the MacBook, and then they're going to jail because you said you were gonna be with them. You can't go back on promises like this. You can't divorce your spouse in the next life. That's just such an absurd thing to say. Is it just me? Like, do you got...
I mean, I think it's pretty absurd too, right? What do you think?
I mean, what I would say is if all it took for me to be soulbound to someone is just say, I promise, and then like a ring, I would so do that, but not to a person. I'd be like, I would just get a $100 bill and I'd be like, I am soulbound to you.
So it always comes back.
It always comes back to me in every life. I'm like, oh, an extra 100, yeah.
You sold your soul for just a hundo.
I mean, I'm just trying to be realistic.
I mean, wait. What? I feel okay.
I hope that's valuable currency in the next life. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, me too.
What it would have to be is like, okay, I guess the thing about money is like it does pass through, like that $100 bill. All right, I'm gonna try to get high concept here. As it passes through people, those people acquire things, right? So a $100 bill is about a fifth of a MacBook, right? Do you see what I'm getting?
Sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, so you're owning little pieces of things. So it's like a Horcrux. You know, you're like the Voldemort of $100 bills.
But I'd get I would get so many in the long run. I'd get more and more in every life.
More, but so
if you're promising yourself to $100 bill, then you're only getting two $100 bills, one for each life.
I only get 2 lives? I demand more.
You get this life, and then you get the next life. So you get two $100.
I don't try to understand spirituality.
That's the motto of Dom Sketchcast, right?
Yeah, don't try to understand it. Look, okay, the point is, don't if you're gonna bind your soul, make sure you've really thought about this and consult your spirit lawyer. There should be spirit lawyers too. People are like, it's not a good idea. I mean, you're gonna owe alimony to her in the future.
Isn't that technically supposed to be a priest? I mean, they do. I don't know.
They're not. Are they spirit lawyers? Not really.
The confessions?
They're on his side. They're on God.
That's true.
They're like the. They're like the prosecution, almost. It's like they're advising you how to best deal with God. They're not like
Right. It's like
here's how to
HR
protect
within the company. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not like, oh, by the way, he's gonna send a couple demons to fight you. You're gonna want to beef up on the spirit sword technique. They're not gonna tell you that, but like, so I don't know who the advocate is on this realm.
It's got to be you.
For me, okay, all right, I'll do it. I'll help you guys out. Step 1, patreon.com/valet. You go on there. I will be your spiritual advisor. I will teach you spells to combat the coming hordes of demons and stuff. People always want to talk about the damn zombie apocalypse. People don't want to talk about the damn demons come and take over. Are you prepared for that shit? I don't know. 2018 was a good year for content, a good year for creativity, for stuff. A lot of stuff happened in 2018. I lost my virginity, all right, in 2018. Finally. I was like, thank you. I was screaming in her ear, thank you. I was like, fuck off. We got into a fight. Threw me out of a window. It's cool, whatever. We're back in the chaos realm. It's me, your friend, Chaos Dom. And it's interview time. Don't laugh. It's me, Chaos Dom, and we're in the interview realm. Right now, imagine me as like Sonic, but I have dreads. But I'm not Knuckles. I'm a black Sonic. Don't laugh, dude. I got my guest laughing again. I'm a black Sonic, and this is Chaos Dom. We're in the chaos realm, okay? We're in the Blue Cerberus building. Now, my guest today, if you could please introduce yourself. Yo, come on. We're doing a show here.
The Sonic stuff got me back to the old days. What's going on? My name is Digsbot, aka Digsbot. I'm an animator and creative director. And yeah.
Fantastic. All right, Diggs. Now, we've never done this before. You and I have been good friends for a while, but you and I are in digital space. While we have met in physical space before, we've never existed inside of the digital realm that I'm creating inside of DSC, inside the DS Cerberus building, okay? I want you to imagine you have a room. It's your own room. It's got 4 walls around it, a ceiling, and a damn floor. What's in it?
4 walls, ceiling, okay. I would say that there would definitely be a mic in the middle, and then the Sonic persona of you with your dreadlocks. Okay. And the Sonic persona of me with glasses and a fade, with the hair on top. So pretty much just us in Sonic form.
Imagining an anxious Nigerian Sonic. Like a Sonic that's too smart for his own good. He's like, why do I need to run?
Right? He's like, I'm too hungry to run. Like, things like that.
Okay, go on. Anything else in the room? Colors, sound?
We are on, since we're still on Sonic, we're in Angel Island Zone, man. It's the first level in Sonic 3.
Okay.
And it's just us as Sonic characters.
Okay.
just chilling and talking.
This is the weirdest room anyone has created. I'm gonna lock it like this. You will never have the chance to change it as long as I know you. I'm locking this.
All
in.
right. And those who know will know.
Yeah. If you know, you know. All right, we just got done with Valet Fair. Diggs did a fantastic segment on Valet Fair. You did a DJ set. I gotta admit to you, when I first found out that you started DJing, which was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was like, okay, this is another Diggs idea. It's like you're kind of throwing it out there. Because, I mean, you're always shooting ideas. Like, you're like, oh, and this and this. Because you're like me. You're like, oh, yeah, and then this and this and this. But, like, seeing your progression and your care towards music, how you're curating it, seeing how you're putting a lot of time and effort into creating something that's uniquely you, not only audibly but visually, has been amazing. I loved your segment, but I'm very just fascinated by seeing this mixture of real footage and what you've drawn and the music as well. So, like, what's the process been like for you growing all of these things?
Yeah, well, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks. So I actually got my first like the DJ controller, so the actual mix set from Guitar Center. I got that about around September. And then I was like, you know what, let me actually start doing this DJing thing and mixing stuff up. Because, as you've known, me, really big into music, been listening to it for as long as I live. Grew up on jazz a lot, and jazz and, like R&B and stuff like that. So, but with that particular mix that I did, I had Brandon, or I Love Brandon, what he goes by, a really good buddy of mine, and I mixed his set, and I used his tracks, and I told him, I was like, hey man, so I told him my idea, and he loved it. Actually, no, I told him I was going to use his tracks, and I said I'm working on a thing, and then once I showed it to him, he really liked it. I said, okay, good, I think we're on the right path for what you want to do. And I'm a big believer in, like I've told people, if I wasn't doing animation, I'd be producing music. That's without a doubt. I'd be producing music for all types of people. And since I can't do that right now, I don't have enough time to, DJing or sound curating is easier for me. And putting visuals to that is very important, because I really think that all creative mediums are very synonymous, but animation and music for me in particular, I'm really, really about that. And I think a lot of people who know me know that I really care about any sounds that's associated with my work. I want to make sure they're very synonymous, or they work together and they flow right. That's really important for me. And and so for this set, since it was me actually mixing it and stuff, I was like, oh, let me just put an animated version of myself mixing this up, in addition to the place I was at the moment when I was mixing, which was Chicago, and layered that all together. And that was kind of how that all came to be. And that set in particular actually is kind of a little preview to many of the things that I'm going to be working on in the future. And I have to thank you, because you kind of gave me a good test ground to kind of play around with this, and it fit pretty well, because I grew up watching Toonami. I mean, if anyone knows me, Toonami and Adult Swim were huge influences for me. So that's pretty much how that whole process came to be. Mixed it, and then the music by I Love Brandon. All the art was done by myself, and the videos I got as well, and just curated it all together, mixed it, and then the very last clip that's actually in my car, and my brother was there with me. Yeah. He was recording and he had the camera, and I was driving around, and then he had that particular segment in there too, because my brother and I. So we call ourselves like the Coker Brothers, and we make stuff together. Yeah. And we pretty much make everything together, but certain things, it might be just me, or other things will be him. But when it comes to a lot of stuff we do together, almost all the time I show him everything, and he shows me what he's working on. Right. And we both grew up, on the Adult Swim, Toonami. Mostly Toonami we grew up watching a lot, and then he just gets the vibe we grew up on, and I know his vibe. He's very into film too. And very long explanation, but that's how the process for that visual set came to be.
I mean, it's beautiful stuff, and I feel the Toonami, I smell the Toonami on the stuff that you make. I remember being a kid, and when I first got cable in, I think it was 7th grade, 8th grade, it was huge for me and my brother. I think I remember seeing Tom for the first time, and feeling like this is so weird, just seeing this little fat guy walking around on his ship, and even the way he would just walk, it was just really slow, you know what I mean? But he had this deep ass voice. He's like, hey, what's up, guys? And I'm like, why is he talking to me? It was weird to see, of course, with these Fox shows that we watched growing up, Batman and Robin, X-Men, the bumps were just like, tune in next week, Wolverine's gonna fight Storm, and they would have the most weakest voiceover, or just something where it's just like X-Men Friday nights 5 p.m. But it wouldn't be, they had no character. Kids WB tried with the WB frog, but their bumps were also disgusting on WB. Like, they was just very just slapped together, just thrown together. But Tom, I think, was the first persistent host of an animated cartoon block that was like, it was serious. It was serious. And it was ethereal. Like he was on a ship, but it was like, I'm not Flash. I'm like, whoa. It was just like, it was chill. It's like, I'm on this ship. We're going places. You don't know where we're going, but it's like, we got Dragon Ball Z up next. And I'm like, what the fuck? It was just so clean and good. Like, do you know who came up with that? And like, you always know animation shit. Do you know who came up with all that shit? Have you studied it?
Oh, dude. If there's anything I studied immensely, it was definitely Toonami. And a lot of the shows I've watched, such as Batman the Animated Series and Superman the Animated Series, and don't get me wrong, like, I love the animes as well. Like, DBZ was a big thing on Toonami. But what I grew up on was Justice League, Batman Beyond, Batman the Animated Series, and Superman the Animated Series. And that was all via Toonami, or like the Midnight Run block type of stuff. And I remember I watched the Toonami.
These are all Western animations, by the way, for everyone listening.
Yeah.
I think that is a very important specification when I'm talking about you specifically, because you do have, I mean, we'll get to the Darwin Cook stuff, but go on.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, oh for sure. Yeah, I grew up watching Western animation. That's a big influence in a lot of my work. Jenny Tartakovsky, Bruce Timm, and Darwin Cook. So those guys, Joaquim Dos Santos, I think I said it wrong. He helped do a lot of stuff as well. Yeah. So for Toonami, I watched this documentary the other day, and it spoke about DJ Clark Nova. I'm saying his name wrong. Clark Nova. So the main guy who runs Toonami. Why am I blanking on his name? But he goes by Clark Nova on Twitter, and just his handle. And he spoke about how the reason why Toonami was so good was because he said, we just want to treat the kids and the young people watching with just respect, because they're just like us. So he said they wanted to make sure that they're not just being like you said, they're not like, hey kids, it was just, yo, what's going on? This is some animations here from this channel, and they want to present it in a cool way, because presentation is everything. And I remember him saying that it was just respect, just talking to the kids like they're adults, in a way of just, hey, you're just like us. Just because we're older, we're kids too, and we love this goofy stuff as well. But it doesn't have to be presented in such a wow way that's only geared towards kids in a way. They just treated kids with respect, which is why I think it gravitated towards a lot of us, and because it was a respect thing, and why it lingers on. And as we got older, we're all like, hey, remember that cartoon show? Or remember all the shows that they on Cartoon Network? Because Toonami was a bridge, essentially. It was a bridge to bringing the Eastern animation to the Western audience, for them to watch it, in addition to sometimes mixing the Western animation into it to kind of show how everything is synonymous. But it was just bringing a Western bridge to Eastern animation, and how that all kind of sync together. And then they include, with the host, and since kids were watching it, and a lot of the themes were way more coming of age stuff, believing in yourself, how the world's going to be tough, but you keep on going. So then they had Tom have those segments about hey, like a big thing for me, which I think really gravitated, why I even became an anime and why I wanted to be into film and creativity a lot, which helped me a ton, was Tom would have all these very inspirational videos. He would. He'd be like, hey, sometimes life is tough.
Right.
And they'll have the
right.
little bumps of all different things. Yeah. He'll say things like, life isn't easy, but you always get back up. Yeah, he says things out of nowhere can hit you, but what makes you get up is what defines you is you standing up for that, believing in your own destiny and don't feel failure, things like that. And they would have clips from animes, from Eastern animation and Western animation, all splicing together, but all saying an underlying theme. So that, in addition to you watching the show, gave it more, the presentation for you watching it was even better, and it's like cooking in a way that, when they present you a steak and present you with something else, or present you with like a really nice dessert, and it comes in a nice way, like, wow, the presentation adds to you eating the meal, which makes you last longer and you remember it for a long time. Toonami did the same thing for animation blocks for that time, for animation, for the more for the animation that had more adults and coming of age themes and more adult themed centered stuff. They presented it in a way of, hey, this is some animation that's older, that has more blood, probably some swear words here and there, but that doesn't mean that there's important messages about the theme in it. You know, it's not just gory or bloody for no reason. Like there's a story, there's a reason why the people made it. It was crafted by artists, and here's why they do it. In addition to Tom giving, you know, video game reviews and telling people, hey, believe in yourself, and that kind of made it feel like Toonami was essentially the older brother telling you, hey, check out this cool stuff. This can help you as you get older in life. That's how I kind of viewed the whole thing. Rambled again, but yeah, that was really inspirational to me, and why, you know, that got me to be a creative for sure. That got me to believe in myself and what I could do, and yeah, it inspired me to make a lot of stuff down the line, which I'm really excited to work on, which is why everything is very Toonami themed and or Toonami based influences and stuff like that. So
I mean, I think there's a friendliness to your work, even when it's violent. Even if I've seen blood or people getting slashed, it's always like, it always feels to me like it's accessible. It will be accessible by younger people, and I think although you and I are on a very similar wavelength, I'm definitely the darker one. I'm definitely like, because I'm thinking back to when I was watching Toonami at the same time I was reading like a lot of Stephen King and post-apocalyptic horrors. I was reading a lot of dark adult fiction that I technically shouldn't have been reading, but it was good for me, and I was just consuming all this dark shit while I'm consuming these animations, and I never made the connection until, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, where I was like, oh yeah, all the art I want to make usually involves people dying or going to hell or something like that, dealing with an afterlife and some kind of suffering, but making it pretty at the same time. I like for things to look kind of grotesque and colorful, but I'm really happy that Toonami existed for people like us. I mean, Pokemon was my entryway into everything. Pokemon and Digimon, and people probably. I mean, the remnants of that stuff are just gone from my work, I think. But I think if I can think back to something that really just like hit me in the nuts, I'm trying to think. It's like I think Men in Black. You remember that show?
I do remember Men in Black. Yeah,
Men in Black was like. It had that almost remember Aeon Flux, the animation of Aeon Flux. It was almost Aeon Flux. They didn't have the budget, but it was like their skin would sort of like ripple in a certain way. Everything was just kind of like bulging. There was a weight to it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think the same company, if I remember correctly, that did their studio that did Jackie Chan Adventures did Men in Black as well.
Wow.
I could be totally wrong. But that's me being a super nerd, because I would, dude, because you know me, I'm DIY and self-taught, so I taught myself animation. So as a kid, I would watch so many cartoons. Well, my siblings and we all would just watch cartoons like crazy, and I would study, you know, other shows, and I would notice similar styles or similar, you know, aesthetics, and I'm like, oh, that's the same. Like whoever made this show also did this show. Like I would. You know, kind of catch that, and I would see how they would draw certain characters and people. I think, if I remember correctly, whoever led or whatever studio did Men in Black also did Jackie Chan, also did The Batman. If I can bet, I think those three are all by the same studio.
Okay, because
I could be totally wrong.
The Batman had that, like, by the way, I hated, like, there was this like motif that they would play, this like it was like every time he would say something, he was like, I'm gonna go find her. And it would play the same fucking. The Batman kind of sucked. I'll put the Brave and the Bold over Batman, even though I know that it was really cheesy Adam West. I liked it more.
Brave and Bold was good.
Yeah, but the Batman, it did have that sort of like really fast. Everything was super fast, like exaggerated fast, where he would just be moving everywhere. In this unreal way, and his eyes were also in that same way, that the shape of the head and the eyes you could see like
I'm pretty sure the Jackie Chan studio, or the studio who did Jackie Chan Adventures, also did that, and that style is very, like you said, erratic, very modern, very graffiti, but also anime-esque like crazy. By anime, because I have to be careful when I say anime, Eastern influence animation, but yeah.
Right.
So
did you know? because what I'm hearing about you is like you seem to have the similar quality to what I had. Is like the fanaticism, where it's like your friends liked cartoons, everybody liked cartoons, but we really liked cartoons. You like too much, where it's just like it's on that different level. Like, did you know that you wanted to animate? Like, what was your relationship to like? When did you start realizing that there are people on this planet making these cartoons and like they got there somehow? And that's what was your process of education in terms of learning how cartoons are actually made?
Great question. I think the first time I really understood the process of it was when I was watching Steven Universe, when they had all the behind the scenes stuff. And I saw them doing storyboards and backgrounds, and they were explaining how the show came to be. And then that's when it hit me that I was like, wait, I have been doing this all this time. I just didn't realize that they also do the same thing, just on a bigger budget, you know? And
so you were already animating at that point.
Yeah, so before all of that, I started animating. I started doing sprite animations when I was in like 7th grade. Yeah. And then I got my first actual tablet where I drew stuff.
Wait, you said when you were 7?
7th grade.
Oh, 7th grade. Okay, yeah. So 12, 13.
So like 12, 13, yeah. And then when I was 15, I got my first tablet. I remember my mom and I went to Best Buy, and I was like, "Mom, I need this bamboo tablet. This is the one thing I need." She was like, "What?" Like, you know, and she's like, "Sure." And even to this day, my mom was watching me work on some stuff, and she was like, "I can't believe that, you know, that one bamboo tablet we bought when you were in high school. Now you're using, like, look at you now, like, look what you're doing." And it was one of those moments that, you know, because when you do something that you're really passionate about, which I'm fortunate that I really am passionate about this, and when you're so in the craft, you forget, you're so in the process and studying it. I learned so much about this whole thing. But yeah, I've been animating with a tablet, you know, drawing things on Flash since high school. And then I noticed that what I was doing in high school, this is what people in studios were doing. You know, like people in Cartoon Network, they were all drawing stuff. They were all, you know, doing the same thing, except it was on a larger budget. You know, one guy did only backgrounds, one guy only did animation, one guy actually did the whole storyboard thing. But when I was in high school, I was doing everything. I did the backgrounds. I did, you know, I was doing all that stuff. And it wasn't until I was watching, you know, Steven Universe thing, I was just, you know, they did it behind the scenes, and Rebecca Sugar was like, yeah, here are all they had the, you know, post-it notes up on the wall. They had people using Photoshop and things like that. And then I just remembered, I was like, wait, that's what I've been doing, you know? Yeah. Because you think that you need a tool, you need a product, you need this, or you have to be in Cartoon Network working on something. And then it didn't really hit me till when I saw them and they were filming people, and it's just all these people drawing and working on stuff in these studios, all using the same programs as me. And I was like, I'm doing what they're doing. Oh, this is great, you know? And that's when it hit me, when I saw the behind this. Particularly, I remember seeing Universe, I was like, because when I saw the backgrounds, I was like, wow, those backgrounds are so beautiful. How did they do it? And then when I got Photoshop and started drawing, and I really took it very seriously, then I was able to kind of improve my background art. And I saw that that's how they do it. And then I was like, wait, this is how they do it. I was like, this is like, we've like many internet animators have been doing this like all the time, and we're just fortunate because back then they didn't have laptops or right. I don't think Cintiqs or I would say Cintiqs or tablets. They all had to get these big budgets. They was all on paper, you know. And don't get me wrong, I commend those who can do stuff on paper. That's sweet and that's awesome. But the fact that essentially the tools that they use in the past has, you know, technology increases, you know, or technology advances, and we all have smart ways of doing it. Once Flash came about and once we had tablets and stuff, like, we're essentially doing what studios paid millions of dollars to do way back in the day, just to animate stuff. And now we can do it like in our bedroom, or do it, you know, like like with buddies, you know, online across the planet. Just make something like that. You guys make your own series from your bedroom. You guys all talk on Skype. You guys get stuff going, and then everyone kind of learns how you go, and that's it. And that really inspired me. And I was like, wow. And then I remember, because I'm such a huge, and I'm very thankful when I started doing stuff for Comicstorian and Comics Explained, and we're doing the comic book stuff, because, I grew up with Batman the Animated Series and Superman and stuff. When I was doing work for them, I got the DVDs, and I have DVDs of all the stuff that I love, and I watch it, and then I'd watch the behind the scenes, and then I'd watch it in fourth speed. And a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, they all would say, oh yeah, like this is what we did. And then they talked about how the process of what they went through. And I was like, this is what I do. This is crazy how it's all just similar. It's just that it was just that back then, they had different tools they used, they had different projects and stuff. And because of all the behind the scenes stuff, that I would watch from all these different, DVDs that I bought and all the behind the scenes stuff on Cartoon Network, that actually helped me realize, wow, this is a great opportunity to do this thing, but it makes sense why at corporate studios they have that organizational corporate structure so things can be done with efficiency. And that's what taught me the most of, wow, I need to be more efficient with what I do, because there's so many ideas and things come up. It makes sense why studios now will have artists work on different shows, and all the artists pitch their ideas, and then whichever one is the best, they have to do that, and people work and different stuff like that. It made me open my eyes a lot to how everything is connected, how things work, and how, like, with the power of the internet and TV, in a way, it's amazing how everything is just, the world seems smaller with the internet. Like, you see what they do in studios, realize, oh, that's it, like that's all you have to do. And because with animation too, it's more about skill and how you produce things, and but there's so many layers. So
what's in the way? What's getting in the way of the average person who's like, I wish I could do that, I want to make cartoons? What's stopping the average person from doing that?
Themselves.
So I know this to be true, and you know this, but I really want to get into this discussion because I think there are a lot of people who need to hear it. I need to hear it. I mean, like, I have off days all the time. Like, I think I'm probably operating right now at like 40% or 30% of what I could be doing. I really feel that. But could you talk a little bit more about the people, the idea guys, the guys who are like, I want to do this one day, man. I have this thing in my head, man. I just like, I want to make my own Spider-Man thing. I don't like, what is step one? What can they do to make their idea?
What helps me is that you have to realize that one day you're going to die, which is you have to realize one day that you're going to die.
Okay. Not me.
It's morbid to...
No, I'm kidding. No, go ahead. No. Yeah. I think about this every day, though. You're entering my realm. You want to talk about death? Let's go, baby.
Yeah, right. You have to... It's morbid to... Not morbid. I think I view it as a motivator. There's only so much time we have on planet Earth. And when you have so many ideas you want to do, that's what's great about us. Like, there's so many ideas and things you can create. And the great thing about now is that all the technology and the knowledge is there. You just have to sit down. That's it. It's there. What is stopping you is literally you. You just have to sit down, look at what needs to be done, and do it. Now, the thing, though, is that not everything that's good, people just seeing like, wow, I wish I can do it. But no one really looks at all the layers of hard work it takes to get there. That's what it is. You have to be able to, to make the idea you want to do. It will require, for idea people, it's so great to have ideas, but I'd rather have people who get things done or have tried it so many times and failed. Because that's when you learn, all right, I have all these ideas, let me work on the ones that will be best at this time. Because then because as you keep doing that, as you keep failing, and then if you learn from the failures, you're like, wait, okay, let me try this a different route. Those are the people that's going to succeed. Those are the people whose ideas will be to fruition and will be seen by many more people. Because it requires a lot of work. It requires different avenues. You have to be able to think to be able, like I said before, what stops people from having these ideas is literally themselves, because everything you can do that you can make is out there. The biggest thing you have to do is realize that it's not about you. People are very not people in this, digital age and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, we're all victim to it. We all want to show stuff like, yeah, I made this. It's all about me.
Inward, right? It appears inward facing. It's, you're on my profile. This is my IG. It's my life you're looking at. Yeah.
But let me tell you, great things in life that has occurred and has been made hasn't been made by one person. It's made by teams. And teams are made up of people who've all studied a particular thing, and then they all bring them to the table. So to get where you want to go, you have to, for the ideas to occur, you have to get the knowledge and the base. That's where you yourself have to train yourself and study things and practice and get things out there. The only way to learn to get your ideas out is putting something out there and someone tells you, yo, it sucks. And then you're like, and it hurts, because people are going to tell you things are going to suck all the time. But but having that rejection and understand, and then seeing that, but then realizing, okay, and then you try again. But it's not even rejection from the people. It's almost like you see something like, yeah, this is great because I did it. Someone tells you it's not that good, and then you have to be, and then you have to be like, oh, okay, and then you try it again. But then at the same time as you develop and get better and better, then when you share it more and more and more, people are like, wow, this actually is really good. And then because if you want to be good at a craft, you have to be able to outdo yourself and be better. And then more people see, they're like, wow. So then when you see the work you've done, for example, let's say 5 years ago you start doing this one animation, right? You keep trying, you keep practicing. It's just practice makes perfect. You keep trying so much, but you keep drawing every day. You draw an animated GIF once a week. You draw something. It's repetition. Consistency is key. That's what it is. The more you practice, the more you keep working on it. Once you see yourself 2 years from now, you're going to notice, wow, my style is different from what it was then. And hopefully what you're doing is you're seeing what you're working on, and you're like, all right, that was great, but let me try to now practice that ear. Let me try with the eyes. You work on the weaknesses. You study things. It's just like school. You're always a student. You always want to improve yourself. You watch things. You see how things work out. It's just a matter of focus, knowing that you're going to die one day, and always want to improve yourself, Yeah. That's what I think I would say, because the tools are out there. This is the best time right now. It's the tool. Everything is there. It's just a matter of balance, focus, and knowing that you're gonna die one day. And to make great art, I'll say this too. To make art, you have to live life too. Don't just stay in your room all day, draw all the time, and
dropping
be like,
bars.
oh, yeah. You can't just sit in your room all day and be like, yeah, this is what art I make. What makes art, the art that makes people cry, the art that makes people get into your soul, is when you experience those things that people go through. You're like, ouch, or you're very empathetic. You know how to, and you're very empathetic with people. You go out, you go to a bar, you see a girl crying, you see a guy doing something. You enter the world and kind of as creatives, almost absorb or watch or view or experience these.
We have to be observant
happiness,
emotionally and physically. It's not for instance, exactly. I'll let you get on the I really like this and I want you to continue, but I've just got to interject this one thing because I really like what you're on. This book Drawn to Life by this Disney guy that everyone tells you to read.
Glenn Keane.
I think it's Glenn Keane.
Okay.
Actually, Steve. I don't know what the fuck his name is. Doesn't matter. But this guy will teach you squash and stretch. He'll teach you how to animate folds and clothing and all that stuff. But this other component you're talking about is huge, and I think it's what makes it's what makes champion artists in terms of being able to express themselves. Is sort of they'll tell you in this Drawn to Life book. Okay, observe how people walk when their foot strikes, how their body moves. At the same time, emotionally, we need to be observant. We need to observe, what do people look like when they're happy? What does it feel like to talk to a happy person? How do you illustrate sadness, your own really experiencing okay, what does it feel like to be a part of a family? What does it feel like when you felt like you didn't have a family? All these kinds of things, to be observant and to really feel them is another key component in achieving the next level.
Because that is where you have to set yourself aside. Because as creatives, as artists, people who, because in my opinion, everyone is born with the ability to do whatever they want, to be an accountant, to draw, to illustrate. Everyone has the ability to do that. It's just that some people decide to stick with it as time has gone on, and others, pick more professional. Everyone has their destiny and what they want to do. But I think I'm speaking more to those who are destined to do more creative things and they want to evolve their craft. My advice: besides getting the fundamentals down of your craft of drawing, making music, all the basics that all the basics that you can't ignore. It's even like medicine. Like you're gonna learn about the basics of all the bones in the body, but there are certain things that when a person goes through it, you have to read like, wow, they went through that, and maybe have to go through something to be like, wow, this person went through that, and you can relate to them because experience in life, going out in life and experiencing things, highs and lows for creative people. And once they, like you said, you have to be I don't know if I word this correctly, be emotionally involved, and at the same time look at it from a 4D perspective. Like that's what I do a lot. I hang out with my friends, when I'm by myself, when I go to a city, certain stuff like that. Once you immerse yourself in something that you haven't been before, or you're with someone who tells you something they're going through, and especially if you're someone who's I feel like I think creative people, especially artists, musicians, all that type of stuff, the reason why people would listen to your art, and it's so relatable, or they like play that one song, it's like, wow, it reminds me of my ex, or wow, this reminds me of like my sister, or wow, I watched this, or I saw this piece of art and it just hit me because someone's like, oh, what's it about? Oh, it was about this, or like this person did this to me, or that person did that to me, and they feel it. You can't create that stuff without going through, because end of the day, what lasts throughout time is storytelling, via art, via music, via whatever it is. That's gonna last longer, like throughout time. People, even the best physicists listen to music. Even the smartest guy who is gonna create some cure for cancer watches some film, listens to some tracks, probably like does some thing that makes him feel happy or sad or motivated or whatever it is, via watching something, via listening to music, whatever that is. And the only way to, I think, really improve yourself and do that kind of stuff is going out in the world, experiencing things, traveling. That will help with your ability to make great art that will last for a long time, because someone will watch it, it'll connect with them, because we're just trying to like connect in a way.
Do you think connection is the ultimate purpose of art?
Yes. I think it is, in a way. I think connection, I think art connects us. It's not only is a connection, it's a necessity, like water. We all read, like what's the Bible, right? The oldest book in the world, and the book that's read throughout, and there's so many stories, so many different things in it. Storytelling is the connection. Everyone reads it, There are funny stories in the Bible, there are sad stories in the Bible, there's some devious stuff in the Bible, also like, and like art in a way kind of connects, teaches us stuff, lets us know how humans are, that we're just always constantly evolving. We're always trying to figure out, what is it about blah, 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 blah. And over time we see, wow, good, and bad. And then we experience all this stuff about life. And then people I think the great thing about humans is that we have an ability to create something out of nothing. That's an amazing thing about us. Using tools that we already had to create stuff, like, from a tree, you can make paper, like humans did that. Like humans like, oh, let's just make, like Thomas Edison with glass, he's able to make light, like but he didn't make it. It took numerous times. Like he kept failing a lot. He studied different stuff. He kept going differently. Like, and the only way to do that, you fail a lot and you get to where, and then you make that one light bulb thing. And I think it's similar to art. What stops you is you.
Yeah, there's a reason that every successful person says the same shit. No successful person ever in an interview is like, you know what? I don't know, man. I just woke up one day and I was just the best. I don't know how it happened. Honestly, I have no advice for you because I don't know what I did. I just won the lottery. And by the way, the lottery sucks, and I hope nobody wins it because it's just like that would just ruin you. I mean, it would like that's not something we should aspire to. I think we should aspire to specifically as creatives. Yeah, we should aspire to work and to fall in love with the work and the medium and connecting with people.
Love, and also loving the process. I think that's very important. If there's anything I've learned, don't get me wrong, I love my animations, or I love animating. I love when it's finally done, it feels great. Another thing besides stopping or you getting the work done is you have to enjoy the process. Enjoy the getting up early or going to sleep late, or enjoy like drawing that one thing and being like, but as you're doing that process, you're going to notice, wow, when I did this before, I was able to do it at this speed, you know? Right. Or wow, like I'm actually getting better at this thing, you know? Give yourself kudos, because creators have to realize, wow, this is actually better than what I used to do before. And then you show the people who, like select people that you share it with who get it, or maybe not get it. Have people be like, I don't like that. And then over time you can be like, cool, I'm glad you don't like that, because that was the whole point of it. Or maybe it's like, oh, I want it to be different, or you're trying to experiment myself. Because with creatives, you have to be afraid to put something out there and people tell you it sucks. And be like, okay.
That's the risk.
And they keep doing it, because they never know, because 5-10 years from now, it'll be good. Like a lot of musicians, I think. And I really respect a lot of musicians, especially those who create albums and stuff. Because people will tell you, or the media, and I think that's why I really love hip hop and rap and R&B and stuff like that, because each album is a person telling a story about what they're going through, and then either what they go through or someone else's, and they feed it through music. And then when people hear it, like, wow, that really hits, that really connects with me. And then they make something else, which is about what they went through. Or they make something else entirely. Like, that's why a lot of times they have to go travel. They go meet other people to get inspired as well, to make some sounds, to connect with them.
Right.
And then, but with this, really fast thing, right? Like nowadays, everyone's like, yo, one thing I remember that you said, which really resonated with me, was you said that whenever you hear an album, you don't want to just say, this songs are the best ones after like a week. You said like you give yourself, 4-6 months, and then you tell yourself, and then you announce to people, yeah, I like this song. Because you like to let it sit.
Yeah, it's got to sink in.
You're right,
like
dude.
That whole thing is like, everyone's in a rush to call something a classic. And there are exceptions like Spider-Verse, but like most things, it's like you just give it time, and we don't give things time anymore because and I fall into this all the time. I think there's often discrepancy between how we want to be perceived and who we actually are.
Yes, man.
Myself, for instance, I noticed this thing about me, and I'm full of shit when I do it. It's like whenever I go on the metro, I'm drawing all the time, and I'm aware of being watched. I'm aware that I'm being watched. No one says shit to me, but I'm always drawing. I'm writing. My ideas come out, and I'm writing them down. I rarely draw physically when I'm in my room. Usually I do it digitally. But I'm like, what happened? I was doing it on the bus, right? When I'm being observed, I'm firing. Even when I'm talking to you right now, it might be kind of my personality, where it's like I am more extroverted, and it's like if there are eyeballs on me, I do sort of perform better. But it's also like you need to be that way when no one's watching. And I do think we're coming kind of full circle. It's like however you want people to perceive you, it's like you got to be that way, dude, for yourself when no one's watching. And that's what's gonna make a difference.
You're so right, dude. It's just being yourself, man. Just being authentic. That's what's gonna set you apart. That's what will make you a great artist or a great creative. Being yourself, trusting the process, and willing to fail. And always, and I mean, there are other steps, but I think those 3 things are very important. Because, and by authenticity too, because I do understand that now I've gotten, being in this internet age or whatever, I understand why people, I think, prefer to be behind, have like a persona for their animation online, and then they have their real life, you know, private for security reasons, you know, they want to show their life and separate. I get that. That's true. But I think you have to be careful not to confuse life and your art. Like, don't do your art as your life. Like, this is my life, this is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm trying to say is, I love animation. I can spend hours and hours and hours just watching stuff, you know? But I like hanging out with my friends. Like, I like going outside. I like to travel. I like to just chill. I'm very happy with my life. I'm very happy being able to separate, you know, today I'm not going to draw or animate stuff. Like, there are times I definitely want to, but you don't want to have that. You want to be careful not having that burnout of, I just animate all day, every day. This is just me. And but like anything in life, if you eat only this particular thing, you're not balancing it with other things as well. You know what I mean? Like,
and then, let's be real. I mean, animators and artists
balance.
in general it's a scourge. I mean, like it's kind of I mean, it's rough because you need to be you need to be focused by yourself, and it's not a very social thing. Animating is not a social thing the way we do it. I mean, maybe if you're in our studio, it's social, but like, it is a lot of time on your own, and it's a balance. I will not take back what I said, and I won't take back what I said in terms of like, you have to match your ambitions with what you do when you're alone. But I mean, this is the true struggle of it all, is like, you can burn out even though you don't think you can. It can happen to you.
Oh man, it can happen. Like, and I would say consistency and balance is key. You know,
but that's the thing, is sometimes the thing in your head is it's unbalancing you. It's being like, yeah, go hang out again. Go keep hanging out, and you hang out too much. You know what I mean? And it's like, how do you know what the balance is?
And that's life, man. That's the thing every day that you have that's the thing that stops. It's you. It's that self. Like, it kind of goes back to what you were saying. Like, what stops you from making? It's you. You know, it's you having to be self-aware of, all right, I spent a lot of time not doing this. I should probably do this. And then the more you train that muscle of, you know, discipline, it really is kind of goes back to just self-awareness and self-discipline, and then setting time aside, having to, you know, you say no to one thing, but then you know that you make it up by doing something else. Don't stretch yourself too thin. Don't overexert yourself. It's about balance, consistency, self-awareness, and self-discipline. You know, you have to be able to look at it from all angles and having to balance it all, and know your limits. Like, I know for me, I used to be a guy who's like, I'll say yes to everything, which there are times when you are getting into the field, you have to understand, like, okay, I'm going to spend all this time to just do all this kind of stuff, blah, 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 right? And then after you do that, it's like, hopefully you've learned, you've grown, you've accepted, and then you want to build more off of that. So then you say, okay, instead of me doing all this stuff, let me just now do only this amount. And then, you know, and then do less over here. And then you build on that. Okay, let me now, but, you know, it's like, it's growing, building, and then, you know, hopefully as your work is evolving and you're getting better at it, you're also becoming a better human. Because at the end of the day, for me, I love creating stuff. That's what I love to do. But I care the most about always just being a better human. You know, I just care about being a good person. I don't want all the art or the work I make to be like, because, you know, a lot of people who make great things, you go meet them and they're like, I don't want to talk with you. And then they just are very rude, you know, very brash, very narcissistic. They think they're better than you. And if there's anything I've learned, or the way I was raised, we all poop the same. Like, Michael Jordan poops just like everyone else. He has to sit down, he's got to poop, and he's got to wipe his butt, you know? Like, no matter how famous a person is, no matter how pretty a person is, no matter what, everyone's poop smells like poop, you know? And we aren't better than the other person because we're all the same human, you know? We have different characteristics, but we all got to poop. We all have to drink water. We all listen to music. We all have to connect. And being able to you know, just be humble and just be a good person. Like I care about that most, and I want my art to inspire people to just, you know, be themselves, you know, and just be good people, you know. I mean, you can make like gory-ish stuff, you know, and then but still people are like, wow, it's like, yeah, I made that, but then when you see the person behind, because you know how a lot of people may make the most weirdest stuff, right?
I know, yeah.
And then you meet them and they're just the nicest human being, like, whoa. And then sometimes people were like, but you made that stuff. And then what if that stuff he made, what if his purpose in life is making that stuff? So then people who have those weird things, it's released by them watching that stuff.
Oh,
you know
and
what
it's
I mean?
like, I'm not crazy.
He's like, no, I'm not crazy. It's just I make, like, he's like, for some reason, like, I just make this thing. This is the art I make. And maybe that art, as crazy and as it is, can maybe someone experiences those things, and when they watch it, like, oh wow, that is something that can help describe this thing I feel in my brain. When they talk to someone, and they're able to express something, because sometimes people can't express things or express the evil thoughts or the weird stuff in their body, because they're afraid of what people would say. And then if someone made it online, where it's like they envision it, and then someone's like, this gonna sound super weird, but this is something that I had a thought or a dream or an idea or something I felt about. And then they're like, whoa, like, yeah, I know it's really bad, but like, here's something that it's almost like a getting rid of that thing out, and they watch it. And then when they see that, and then if an artist who makes those things can show like, hey, this is what happens, you know, by doing, I don't know. But I guess, you know, everyone has like, that's why for me, in terms of art, like, there's stuff that's, humans, we're fickle creatures, man. Like we always it's hard to, we all make mistakes, we all kind of, you know, mess up, we all learn from it, but I think the most important thing is just being a good person and respecting them and not thinking yourself better than another person. Like, no way. Like, I don't like, a janitor is just as important as a CEO of a business. You know, they all like, everyone is important. And if that's a mindset that, you know, I think is very important for people to have, and for artists when they realize that too, it'll help you make better art. You can, you know, because the great thing about us is that creatives have a lot of power. We have a lot.
Oh, and it's growing, and that's, I mean, I think this is a good way to. Yeah, I think it's a good way to sort of taper off, but I think, I mean, the gatekeepers are dying out, or at least it's changing. I mean, we have a show right now. Like, you're on this podcast, I'm going to be on your podcast, and people, we have their eyes and ears, and it's like, they might not be, it's not millions of people, but it's like, if we have a small population of people who really care, like really fuck with what we're doing, that is power, and it's influence in the best way possible, especially if we, and I know we're both doing this, is like working to form a community where people feel less alone, feel like they can express themselves, feel like because you know what I'm talking about, like the kind of demographics that are kind of like traditionally overlooked. I mean, like, I didn't know there was nobody who looked like you or me who had a show talking about animation when I was younger. There was no one like
Same
that.
here, man.
And
I
now
know,
it's us.
it was tough.
We're doing it. So
which is so humbling, and terrifying at times, you know? Because sometimes it's like, I hope they like this, and then you beat yourself up so much. But then when you get the messages or the response, or for me, like these two kids from Detroit, it's just, you know, I was so tired. I was working. I had nothing. Like, I was like, is this stuff even worth it? You know, like, blah, blah. Not that it's worth it, but it's, you always want to make stuff, but you're always tired. And just life hits you. And then when people send you stuff like, wow, your animation really helped me, or like, this really connected with something that I worked on, and then like, and they take the time to send you like a video of them watching it and they review. It's like, it's when you get things like that, it's like, I can't stop. Like, I refuse to stop.
That's purpose, and that is what people will. No one will ever be able to explain that to you through. It's not money. It's not views. It's not retweets. That thing, that connection is the currency of life. And I'm about to patent that.
Ooh,
and make
bars,
the currency of life, baby. You understand?
To Westwood TV, baby.
I got that paper. Now you have a podcast. Please please tell people about your podcast. Please tell people where they can find you.
Yes, so we have a lot of great things coming up really soon. In 2019, guaranteed, I promise, hold me to it. We're getting things set, before we release it out. But a podcast I'm working on will be out soon called Humane's World. Very excited about that. We talk about... actually, you know what? I'll just save it for you guys to hear it.
Okay,
It's going to be great. Super excited. We have... There's a show I'm working on called Digsbot and Digsbits. Digsbits is behind the scene work I've done, and I just talk about that. That'll be on my YouTube channel as well. There's a show called Digsbot where that's very different and unique, and I'll let people check that out too when it comes out. But for me, you can find me on Twitter at Digsbot, YouTube Digsbot, pretty much like Digsbot everywhere, Instagram Digsbot as well. And yeah, we have there's a lot of cool stuff in the works, and I'm very excited. But I'm trying to train myself to just just do more, work more, and say less. So I want to be able
That's
to,
hard. I mean,
it's hard.
You're
it's
doing
very
a good
hard.
job at it.
Right, but I can guarantee though that this year, 2019 for sure, the podcast is coming out. It will be on Spotify and iTunes, and there'll be a visual component on YouTube.
Yes.
So that's definitely on there. Digsbot, Digsbits, and another thing too. But once again, I want to be able just to to show it.
Sonic Sprite comics. Digs like it's like
Angel
3D,
Island
it's made in
Comic Zone.
Blender. It's like the background is just it takes millions of dollars to make, but it's like a sprite in the foreground as a little character. It's trying to get those Chaos Emeralds. Diggs, thank you for coming to the Chaos Realm with me. Thanks for making this weird room with us Sonic sprites in it. And we'll have you back shortly.
Oh, for sure.
At some point.
For sure.
Thank you, man. I'm going to go through... I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm going to go through my best of list because a couple of you have asked about it. My best of 2018. We're going to go through movies, TV, books, and then music. All right? Some of these things I'll talk about more at length. How much more time do we got? I just want to know.
You have just a little under 20 minutes.
Okay, perfect. We can do this shit. Movies, in no specific order, okay? So I don't want you motherfuckers being like, why wasn't Black Panther #1? Okay, why the fuck didn't you put Black Panther? All right, chill out. All right, it's mixed up. Fucker. Hereditary. I've talked about this movie before. It is a great psychological, beautiful horror movie that has great build-up and suspense. And you want to talk about composition. I mean, you've seen it, right?
Oh, yeah.
You all seen it? Just like the dollhouse thing. Like, come on, that's the kind of shit. It's like nerds like us are like, the composition. Like, it frames everything in this specific way. And then it puts you in this mindset of like, it's like adult Wes Anderson. It's like, okay, let's take this idea. Okay, you're giving me a look.
No,
but it's like
I'm considering it. I'm like,
Wes Anderson is like, everything's great and everything, even violence is childish for him, and it's very like paper cutout. This one is more like, okay, let's flatten 2D and cross section with the composition, but it's like it's a satanic dollhouse. Mm-hmm. It's a dollhouse where people are dying and shit in a very real, visceral way. So yeah, I liked that a lot. Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man. Come on. I mean, pretty much every realm. I did want Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy to have a little... but it didn't happen. Just a little on the spider cheek, but yeah, it didn't happen. Maybe in the next movie. What if she comes back and she's 40 and he's like, I liked you as a 18-year-old, but now... Into the Spider-Verse is great. I talked about it at length, and I'll talk about it more in the future. You know me. 8th grade, which I've told. Did you guys watch it yet?
finally.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, okay.
It's fantastic.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been telling everybody. Man. You seen it? Editor Ryan, come on, dude. 8th grade. Yeah, all right. You guys tell me why it's good. So, yeah. Well,
I don't think I've seen a film that is so like that has captured our generation so well in terms of the way that we're just obsessed with technology and the way that it can just really stunt you socially in a way too. And I think, and I feel like that hasn't been captured. The only other film that came close to that for me was Ingrid Goes West, which is also another really good depiction of social media, like over social media use. But yeah, it's fantastic, and it just really, like the scene where she has to go to like a party, like a pool party, is just it's so awkward and uncomfortable. But like I think everyone has had situations like that where they're going to a party when they're younger and they don't know many people, and just the awkward experience that is, and just wanting to impress people but feeling like you can't talk to people. And like I deal with anxiety. And I feel like in that sense, it was relatable for me, growing up.
I just feel so bad for like the young generation with having the responsibility or the access, the privilege to social media. Because if I had a Twitter account when I was 12, man, would I have said some dumb stuff like that I would have at the time thought was so funny or interesting or insightful, and then it went like even a year later I would say, oh, what was I thinking? But when it's online, it's forever, so it's so tough to have that permanency in sharing your thoughts.
Yeah, and any Bo Burnham interview, I encourage you, the listener, the viewer, to listen to it, because I think he's saying some of the most smart, sympathetic things about the tail end of our generation, like whatever it might be. I think there is a gap between me and you guys, but I think like
little one.
Yeah, I think we're in the same realm. But I would advocate strongly for sympathy for younger people, because you're gonna see in the next coming years, you're gonna see a lot of like, oh, these kids on the damn tablets and shit. Mm-hmm. You're gonna see a lot of that, but I think we're gonna be losing humanity if we really don't try to look at kids and be like, shit is tough for them. I mean, it's really, if I had social media, I would have been like drawing pictures of people and bullying them and stuff. I would have been doing some dark things, which, yeah, like you said, it doesn't go away. So they're going to have to deal with some stuff, a lot of dark shit. So yeah, 8th grade was amazing. Super emotional, and just like you really care about this girl. Mm. It's like she's just going through, and the dad was so sympathetic to it. Like, He wanted so badly to like.
Yes, that was.
And she's like, "Get out, Dad!"
I love that about it so much. Like, I feel like you don't see like fathers in movies that are just so like. He was portrayed in such a sympathetic way. Like, at no point did he like lash out at her. He was always very understanding. I liked
her
that.
Biggest fan.
They didn't. They didn't make. I don't know. They didn't take. It didn't take like a left turn where he like. You didn't have a scene where he yells at her and he's like, "You're ungrateful. What's wrong with you?" Like the whole time he tried to be as understanding as possible, and I thought that was refreshing, because I don't really think you see that very much.
I agree. Yeah, the conflict really took place inside of her head and her perception of herself versus everyone else. Everyone else is awkward, by the way, in that movie. Like, even the popular kids are also, they don't really know what they're doing. They're kind of just doing whatever. And it's weird to say this to be sympathetic towards popular kids, but they're also kind of involved in this weird dance and this performance that they don't really know the ins and outs of. But yeah, when she meets that nerdy kid, I'm like, I felt so good to see her be able to connect with this other person who was like her.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I love that it really was that sympathetic portrayal. I think that's a really good way to put it. And there's just like the end of the movie, it's not overly it's not so positive like everything's going to be great forever, but it's like at the end there's like a light at the end of the tunnel, and I really liked that it kind of had that bittersweet sort of tone to it.
Yeah. It's I hope everyone watches that. And I'll keep talking about it. I think it's an important movie to watch. Black Panther, obviously. Could it have been better? Yes. This would never happen, but it needs to be talked about, okay? So Killmonger is by far the most interesting part of that movie. Now, we've had so many, just thousands of like white villains on screen being like, and now I'm gonna take over the planet, right? there's something about seeing an equally insane black dude who's like, I'm going to arm every black person on this planet with alien technology and we're going to take over. And I was like, what does that look like when he, like, what if he got past the barrier and he was like, no, I'm too smart. I'm actually, this is happening. That's a really interesting story to see occur. Will not happen because, I mean, the internet would be ablaze and it would just be, Marvel would not want to make that happen. But it's okay to see Thanos destroy half the population and snap his fingers. But he's purple. Is Thanos white? He's kind of a...
He seems kind of white. Yeah. Even though he's purple, I feel like to me, I just see Josh Brolin though. I don't know. Even though like
I'm not white, I'm black. No, not Thanos. Yeah, I am. I got the reality gem. I can be whatever the fuck I want. I identify strongly with African Americans. Thanos, dog. I didn't put Infinity War on this list, even though that's an amazing movie. I'll put Thanos on the list. I love him. He's like, he doesn't seem that passionate about what he's doing. He's kind of like, why do I even want this gauntlet? For some reason, whatever. And he's just like beating people up. And at the end of this movie, he gets what he wants, and he's just sitting in a puddle of water like, fuck. He doesn't even like it. Which I'm into. I like depressed Thanos. Mid-90s. Jonah Hill.
Yes.
Jonah Hill is the one. I mean, that guy is... this is a beautiful story that... I found that everybody in that film seems to want... They want a home. Like, they just want to be accepted. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what that movie is about. Even the mother, like, the kid's brother, everyone just wants to feel close to something. You know what I mean? Even if that's, like, a group of like grungy-ass skateboard kids who are getting in trouble, like, the kid found a home, like a family with them. And I think it's another sympathetic movie. It's just really beautiful. The music, something about the aspect ratio, too, is, like, if you want to get, like, some nerd composition stuff as well. I don't know why it was so... Maybe it spoke to something that was deep inside of it. Because all the content we consumed as kids was in that, unless it was widescreen movie format, but we always saw things here. It has to do something to your brain, maybe to not have any information, not have to think about that stuff. Editor Ryan, any thoughts on the composition? Why is that so appealing to us?
I don't know. I just like how 4x3 it looks. And there were like a bunch of movies this year that were in 4x3 that were really, really fun.
Like what else? Like
First Reformed. That's the only one I can think of. So.
Well, A Ghost Story.
Is it 4x3?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe.
I think it just captures that the whole film. It captured that 90s aesthetic. I know everyone said this, but like it helped to like further capture that 90s aesthetic that it had. And I don't know. I think that's kind of a bold thing to do because you had a lot of regular. I think back to what was that black and white movie that people walked out.
The Artist.
The Artist. Yeah, yes. I'm not praising that movie, but like the fact that people were like angry and they walked out because they're like, this isn't black and white. Did you ever see that? There were articles people were walking out because they were like, is something wrong with it? And I look at it in the same way. Like it's a bold artistic choice to release a movie that's in a format that some people consider somewhat dated because I don't know. I think I like bold choices, I guess.
And it was quiet. It was a very quiet film. From what I've been told, I still haven't seen it, even though I really want to.
You saw it in the 90s?
The Artist.
Oh, The Artist. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's completely silent.
Yeah.
I think maybe in the end they have some music. No, it's not. They have music. Sorry, music, no audio or no sound effects or vocals.
Singing in the Rain is the better version of The Artist, which is literally the same story. But yeah.
God, that used to be... Just imagine living in the world. It was like, have you seen this new moving picture, Singing in the Rain? It's crazy. The guy swings on a fucking pole in the rain. God, that sucks. Like, that shit was so boring back then. You see a dude dancing in the rain, and it's like, this is fantastic. I saw it 4 times. Beautiful.
And then after that, I never saw it again.
Yeah.
I don't have a TV. Like, it's over.
Yeah, it was just one time. Maybe I should try a 4x3 video this year. Just one. I'll commit to one of those. Just to see how it feels, because I've never done that. So
Put some fake film grain on it.
oh my god, I'm not doing that. I don't need to do that. I'll become one of those guys who's like, I only record Christopher Nolan.
Oh my God.
I only record on film because film is the quality of film is beautiful. You cannot replicate it with digital.
Meanwhile, his crew is like, fuck. God damn it.
We're doing film. Oh my god! Please let us do digital. It's so much easier. No, we will not do digital.
Because with digital, it's like, oh, make a little mistake. It's like, all right, just delete that file and we're good. And
must
with
cut
film,
the
it's
whole-
like, all right, well, we got to put another reel into the fucking camera.
Is it worth it?
I personally, I respect that if they're that into it, if that's what makes them feel more passionate about it, but I would never do it. Because you can literally get the same exact look, essentially, with like a good red camera. Like, for example, Breaking Bad was all shot on film. And,
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, and when they moved over to Better Call Saul, Vince Gilligan was really reluctant to switch to digital, and the production team was like, okay, we're going to shoot this, and we're going to show you. Like, they shot an example, and he was like, oh, fuck, it looks basically the same.
Oh, they had to convince him?
They had to convince him, and then eventually he was like, okay, yeah, you can get this essentially the same look, and it's easier for the crew. So I don't know. It's
expensive.
way less expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's not.
And you don't have to worry about like someone putting the film in the trunk of their car on a hot summer day and then it melting
Yeah.
or lighting up on fire.
It's a bit. It's like it's kind of a meme. It's like it's a nostalgia thing. I can appreciate it. Like, again, if that's what makes you, if that helps to make you more passionate,
Yeah.
do your thing. But no one else. Like, I think like we're gonna see that die out with Tarantino and Christopher Nolan and all of these older filmmakers. No one from this younger generation is going to do that.
They will.
Jonah Hill shot mid-90s on film.
See, I'm just talking shit. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Dude, you know.
But I don't think they had to, though. Like, I don't think they had to shoot it on film.
I think if it's a period piece and you're trying to replicate the style, I get it. Mm-hmm. But if Jonah Hill from this point on is like, all my movies are on film, it's like, all right, man.
See, I agree. If it's a period piece, I think it does make more sense. But I feel like you can recapture that same style with digital.
The question is, how do you maintain the passion of analog media in the digital world? And that's the question that we are all going to be answering. And all you creative people listening, that's your challenge as well. Is like, when I'm drawing with a stylus on a tablet, it does not feel as good as pencil to paper. But like, it's faster and it's more efficient, so I have to figure out how to balance that stuff. So filmmaking, same thing. Music, same shit. I know it doesn't feel like, and I don't know the answer to that, but I will usually err on the side of the quicker thing, because you just don't want to become the person where it's like, okay, it took me fucking 20 years to make this thing, and it's like, okay, well, I could have made it 10 minutes, so...
And like these filmmakers, like Chris Nolan has a luxury of like being able to shoot on these amazing IMAX film cameras, and it's like most people aren't going to be able to do that unless they get to that like insane level, you know.
Dude, if I had that technology, I would just use it for like, I would want to film things that are very not grand, like someone at a Taco Bell or something. I don't know. It's like you go from Dunkirk to like the most mundane shit. All right, so those are the movies. TV, I only got one. Atlanta season 2. Atlanta is one of the best. Is it the best show on TV? I think Game of Thrones is probably the best show on TV in terms of scope and what they've been able to accomplish with the story. But Atlanta, for me personally, like that's my favorite thing. It's like each episode is like movie quality in terms of composition. They got Hiro Murai on there. Donald Glover is like, come on, what else do you want? The Teddy Perkins episode is like, that's required watching. All you guys should watch that shit. Love Atlanta. Books, and we are going to get to music in a second. Books, Friday Black by Nanakwame Adjabrenya. Here comes a spell, a Haitian digital spell, all right? I'm going to have him as a guest on this show. I'm just saying, it's going to happen. That book is like, it's like Black Mirror, a little less techie, with a heavy emphasis on modern black culture. So it's like black modern apocalyptic sci-fi fantasy, and it is just like, it's pretty insane. Some of those stories are just ridiculous. Yeah, Friday Black, really good book. Flight or Fright is a compilation of horror stories edited by Stephen King, and there's like 15 horror stories in there, and they're all about planes. They all take place on planes. So if you guys are scared of flying, read that book. Scare the shit out of you. Shook One by Charlemagne the God. It's all about mental illness and therapy, specifically in the black community. I think it's a really important book. Any of you guys would enjoy it. He talks a lot about his anxieties and like emotional stuff from his past, and how he's been able to grow from all that stuff. Shook One is really, really fucking good. All right, music, the thing you guys been waiting for. All right, I feel like I'm going to be forgetting some albums, so you guys can remind me if there's some other stuff. But I got top 3, all right? Astroworld, Travis Scott. That thing, I've had it on repeat. It's not just the music that's amazing with this guy, but the choices he's been making visually. Also, just, I'm very impressed by some of these concepts that he's able to hang on to and execute. For instance, like Astroworld, the idea of creating this amusement park that may or may not be inside of his head that he's allowing you to enter. I'm really into that. You go to his website and he has that golden head of his, and you can just kind of rotate it. And I'm trying to do a similar thing. So don't say I'm copying it from Travis Scott, but just remember that I said that. Beach House 7. Not my favorite album by them, but that's like saying, that's like eating a nice salmon dinner and being like, I love this and it's amazing, but I had other salmon. It's amazing. 7 is amazing. Had it on repeat. I will talk about Beach House every day of my life. I don't care. Earl Sweatshirt, some rap songs. Earl Sweatshirt is, to me, he's an impressionistic rapper. His music is, God, he's taking the medium and he's just making it into something that's so like, he's like distorting it in this way that's super unique. And in some rap songs, I feel like you're in a wheel. Everything is very like cyclical, and you feel like you're inside of some kind of, I don't know why the wheel or the circle, like I just keep coming back to the idea with some rap songs. But yeah, I loved that as well. Yeah, that was my 2018 list. I want to close this out by, we're not going to be reading any questions. We're going to be reading 2 comments that I got from ask@domravern.com. If you have any questions or comments in the future, you go to ask@domravern.com and post them there. In a previous episode, I asked you guys about your spiritual beliefs, and I'm just gonna have to truncate these because they're very long, and you guys are super long-winded with this shit. So you guys are gonna be getting the truncated version of these. So the first comment I got about your spirituality specifically was from Ibrahima Cisse. He's going to be very, very long, so I apologize to Downhill Media and editor Ryan for having to sit through this. But you listening or watching, you're going to have a good time just listening to me blow through this. Ibrahima says, I grew up in a Muslim family, but I can't say I was ever really religious. I remember being young as shit in the mosque, thinking how none of the Quran made sense, but never really saying anything. Fast forward to 21-year-old me, I can't remember the last time I prayed by choice or even looked at the Quran, and I never really care to again, unless I really want to break the book down to see it as incoherent as the Bible. I can't say I like religion, but I don't hate it either. I just see it as an undying remnant of an ignorant and short-sighted past ideology. That's a beautiful sentence. Have you considered writing professionally, friend? I'm saying that. That's not what he's saying. What I believe. Okay, now he's getting to the point. Through my life experiences, I consider myself non-religious, but artistically and aesthetically spiritual. I love the idea of gods, especially polytheistic ones like Greek, Egyptian, and even non-religious narrative gods like H.P. Lovecraft's, to the point where sometimes when there's thunder or lightning, I think, damn, Zeus bugging out. Or when I'm on the ferry looking down into the water, I think of Poseidon's potential power. Even when I'm listening to music with religious undertones like The Aura by Apollo Brown, that's a long-ass paragraph. I'm not going to read that one. Even in my own art, I make language, sigils, and magic to fit the lore of gods I've created. Good job. Who have followers that believe in their power. In a book that tries to mimic the aesthetic of an ancient tome with religious/cultural happenings like the Bible. Shit just surrounds me, and I fucking love it. Hopefully this didn't come off as some bloviating dookie. It did not. Love the podcast. You're hilarious and an inspiration to a young black kid from Harlem. I do it for you, dog. Yeah, thanks for writing in. Flying Oblivion. I do know that guy. Do I have anything to say? For once, I'm not going to respond. That's just beautiful what you said. I'm just going to leave that there. Another one from Liv Winston, who's talking about, man, if you guys are going to write to me, please separate your paragraphs so that I'm not, because this shit is just, it's a chunk of text. You see that shit?
Get your shit together.
Yeah, I'm going to read through it. God damn. All right, we're going to do this one. My name is Liv, and I've been following you, creeping, lurking since your Death Grips video with Fantano, or from Mike Seatown's What Do You Want to Know vids. It hit me hard when you were discussing your experience with a religion, family, and interesting life experiences. I was raised Roman Catholic, and also with that, most people would call voodoo. I'm of Haitian descent. Swag 420, shout out to my Haitian brother, okay? And have a strong family background in Louisiana. I've witnessed experiences that very much are an ancestral summoning, channeling to be more specific. Damn, dude. I was raised in a very strict, predominantly white Catholic school. My family is mostly Catholic due to familiar and heritage reasons, while also practicing other traditions. It's pretty normal for some families to practice both where I'm from. However, there is somewhat of a divide between the more Catholic side and the ones who are doing other practices. I can relate to that. Man, there's a lot of text here. I thought I was going to be able to get through all this, but this is kind of a tome. I will read all this and respond to you directly, Liv. But, yeah. We got people in the studio now. Ooh, you got a beautiful drawing you attached here. I don't know if you made this, but it's like this guy he drew, this like deity. This is beautiful. This is nice. Okay, so scroll down all the way to the bottom. He is an artist, and he's working on a series of illustrations that has the focus on duality. I like hearing you talk about your experiences as a creative or just who you are. Keep up the cool work. I need to buy that shirt of yours. dsc.com/threadless. I think that's the site. Yeah, go there, buy shirts, please. Just give me money. That's the only reason I'm doing this. I don't care about any of you guys. I don't care about myself, all right? Just buy shit, okay? I'm trying to stack that paper, 2019, okay? I don't care about nobody. My body's going to be made out of money. Thanks for reading. Sorry if it was a bit too long. Yes, it was long, but that's fine. You guys, ask@domrabro.com. You can send me long stuff, short stuff. We will truncate it, but I will read through all of these things. Yeah, that's my goal. Thanks for telling me about your spirituality. I'm so happy to hear from you guys who have different backgrounds from me, and some similar ones, like Haitian kids. Like, that's really, really good. I do want to hear from you guys, because it's being Haitian American is a very strange existence, because Haitians are super spiritual, and it's like growing up Haitian is like, even if they're Catholic or whatever, it's always like if something bad happens to someone in your family, they're always like, you know, she was cursed, right? And you're like, oh, okay. You just grow up just believing that stuff. Like, there's weird curses, and someone's always getting hexed or some shit. I'm gonna hex you guys right now, listening or watching, to watch the next episode. We're gonna end this with a beautiful picture that Michelle from Downhill Media made of me on a beautiful date with Mewtwo. I'm just gonna let this shit hang. You guys just look at this image. Just look at how enamored I am with Mewtwo. Not only am I enamored, I'm just reaching out, but the love is unrequited. I'm just like, please, Mewtwo. Mewtwo's like, no, fuck off, dude. But he's still there. Mewtwo is still there. He hasn't left yet. That means I might still have a chance. All right, thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you in the next episode. I love you. All right, swag 420.